Kakua Pau. I'm Kaiopua Fife with the Puanani Foundation. Here once again with another segment of Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future. Another segment on Kauai, and right now we're at Kikinakala at the mouth of the Wailua River. And today we are here with Puanani Rogers, who is going to share some of her things that she wants to, her mana'o, and what you're up to. Aloha, Nani.
Aloha.
Good to see you. Mahalo for making the time.
Mahalo for this opportunity.
Taking your time out from demonstrations and protests and court cases and everything else to spend some time
All
with
of the
us.
above, all that we do.
Yeah.
It's been fun though,
Yeah.
and it's gratifying work. Maybe I should introduce myself.
Sure.
And for people that don't know who I am. I was born and raised in the Ahupua'a of Kealia on this island, a beautiful island of Kauai. The auspicious, I think, is the year 2009 for me because I'm 69 years old and I was born in 1939.
Wow.
So in 2009 I'll hit my 70th birthday,
Wow.
of which I am so happy. Mahalo Keakua for giving me such a gratifying and fulfilling life on this realm, in this planet. I have 6 children and 13 and a half grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter, and we all live here on the island of Kauai. My activism life started about 20 years ago when I joined the sovereign nation of Kalahue, Hawaii, from about 1987 to about 1997, 98. And I don't regret anything that I have given towards or taken from my many years with the Kalahue Hawaii organization. I learned so much. I met such wonderful people. I was, I think, a little bit late in coming into the movement, our independence movement, because it wasn't until about that time, and it had been like 10 years before when all of this renaissance and all of this movement towards independence and our own nation and the restoration of our nation, which of course came about because we finally learned our true history of what happened to our nation. So
And a rejuvenation of the culture and
exactly,
along with that too.
that
sure.
as well too,
Yeah.
yes. And I do hope that that will continue. I think we should continue to perpetuate our language and all of our cultural mana'o that is related to our aina. That should be one most important foundation, I think, for us is culturally based move towards rebuilding of or restoration of our nation.
And that's
we
happening.
don't have to rebuild it because it's there already.
Sure.
Yes.
But as far as increasing the awareness and revisiting the culture, it's being perpetuated in our educational system now, in our charter schools,
yes.
the halau,
Yeah, but
So-
still not enough, yeah?
No, never enough.
Yeah,
Never enough.
It would be wonderful when we have most of our people, Olelo
Sure.
Hawaii,
Yeah,
in our communities.
Yeah, that's
and,
true. Yeah.
All for our children is why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's for our future generations, our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren.
Well, you're quite a musician and a vocalist and hula, yeah?
yes,
Mea
I
hula.
do. I am
So-
a hula dancer. I am a musician.
So,
That's all the fun parts that I enjoy of our cultural work.
Sure.
I love to chant and participate in our cultural ceremonies.
sure.
And we have done that many times. We're all over the island. And I credit that to my work as a networker.
Mm-hmm.
I founded the Ho'okipa Network, about 12, 13 years ago. And it's been wonderful. It's interesting because it's not really an organization or an entity of any kind. It's just the exchange of communications
Sure.
and mana'o
Sure.
and educating each other. And I've learned long ago how important communications is.
Well, I mean,
in
that's
anything we do.
yeah, face-to-face, telephone, internet, and
Newspaper.
yeah, newspapers, headlines sometimes.
Yes,
So,
right. And we should take advantage
sure.
of the media.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they use the media many times against us. So now we're going to turn around and use the media to our advantage to get back and get our manao out there.
Yeah. It works
Which
both
is really
ways.
great that you do this.
Yeah,
I think the video is a powerful tool.
Yeah. Well, we have people who maybe aren't as lucky as we are. Maybe have been distracted by trying to get from one day to the next, you know. And it's hard for them, a lot of them, to do anything except get to the next job, pay the bills, get the groceries, try to keep the kids on the straight and narrow, you know.
Exactly.
It's a big thing. It's a everyday battle that goes on. And to get to where we're doing other things beyond that is pretty exceptional.
Yes,
You know.
it is.
And sometimes we got to get some years under our belt to do
especially in the
that.
political arena.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you feel like we're standing in the middle and there's like arrows being thrown at us from all directions, which includes our stuff about our land, our water, and our cultural practices, and it seems like it's all in jeopardy. It's like they're trying to take things away from
Yeah.
us.
But that's kind of a continuation of what's been going on a long time now.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of continuing that battle, but I think from a better informed position, and I think we're fortunate too because a couple generations before us were pretty much totally oppressed, right?
Yes.
No connection to the past.
Like my
cut 'em off.
parents' generation.
Yeah, mine too. So
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
So it's
Well, it is our time.
yeah, it is. You
The
can
time
see
is now.
around the world there's a shift. You know, things are changing.
Yeah.
Your communication, I mean, and you've done a little bit of traveling too, huh?
Oh yes, that's what I like about networking. It has taken me further than I had ever dreamed that I would be doing. I've been to representing the DMZ Aloha Aina organization, of which, like I say, because I'm not an entity, I'm a non-entity, an
Yeah,
NGO.
yeah,
so I can join up.
Sure.
You know, I can join up with any group that is pro-independence
Sure,
mostly.
sure.
So DMZ Aloha Aina has taken me to Vieques, Puerto Rico, where we
Right.
shared our military impacts of Kaho'olawe and their island of Vieques. Same thing, using it for targets.
Yeah.
And then to Majuro, to
Yeah.
the Marshall Islands, to not celebrate but commemorate that awful bombing of those nuclear bombs on Bikini Atoll,
Yeah.
which was in May.
Yeah.
It's also taken me to Aotearoa and to Australia for conferences,
Sure.
and
Japan, huh?
Japan for cultural exchanges. More than 5 times, I think I've
Yeah.
already done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting. I think people should be more interested in other indigenous peoples and their cultures, because as I did, they'll find that it's so similar. We
Yeah.
have many similarities. in our-
And there are so many supportive indigenous groups around the world who, to one degree or another, experiencing the same thing we have, or we are.
Exactly.
And so we can
Politically,
learn, you know, we can learn.
Culturally, it is very, very similar.
Yeah.
And they too are fighting for their independence.
Sure.
Within their own
Their
countries,
recognition.
too. Yes.
Yeah. We work with Kiwani Foundation with the Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, and part of the thing that had happened through the UN was a Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. And that was a major accomplishment, but still limited, you know, because
Yes,
the
I
powerful
know.
states
And
still
the fact
kind
that
of,
the United States,
know.
Australia, and another country
Kind-
didn't even adopt it.
yeah, yeah.
I could have, Aotearoa of
the-
all nations.
The biggest violators, well, it's UK, United Kingdom, right?
Okay, that's
So,
why. Yeah, it's UK.
The biggest
and
violators of
Australia.
human rights who didn't sign on, so what do you expect? You know?
I know.
Well, I
But
hope we have
that
some,
was a great pivotal moment, though, in
yeah.
our history
yeah,
for the declaration of it, because it was gone on like 10, 12, 15 years
yeah,
since
about
it
12
started.
years. Yeah, yeah. Mililani
And
Trask, you know, from
finally,
Kalahui
yes.
was key in bringing that about. And at the last minute, when it had to be revised so that it was more broadly acceptable, kind of had to bite the bullet, you know. And so it's not everything it
Yes.
could be, but it's working in that direction. So
Right.
actually, you know, we have a better version of the Declaration of Indigenous Rights that went through the Hawaii State Senate.
Yes.
It's the best version. It was passed,
Oh,
and people don't
yes.
realize that, but it's something that we have to bring up and put right in front of their faces when things come up. You know, that's an
Oh, yes.
opportunity. Yeah,
Let's carry it around with us wherever we go.
that's right. I have to look it up and print it out so that people can say, "You guys already passed this. Let's not ignore this one too." You know.
That's right.
So
Especially now that we're fighting for our so-called ceded lands.
yeah,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so heavy, and that's what we're going through right now. And you know what? I don't care what the state think they can do. They are a fraud.
yeah.
They are artificial, and they know it. They're
Well,
just
we've been hearing the
ignoring
term fake state. Have you heard
fake
that?
state.
And
Yeah.
I think that pretty much encapsulates it. That,
Yes.
it's a fake state.
Right.
What are you doing in that direction? I know you got so many things going on. I mean, everything that's happening on Kauai and throughout Hawaii, you're somehow involved in or connected to, even if it's just communicating it. But on Kauai, you got some action going on here, I think.
Yes. Ho'okipa Network is involved in a couple of court cases
Oh, Lord.
right now.
That must be kind of scary.
Continuous testimonies and making statements against DLNR, and they're trying to change a lot of the rules now. You know, the latest one was changing the rules at Iolani Palace.
Yeah.
We totally reject. And-
Restricting access and so forth.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we plan to be there though, January 17th. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whether they like it or not, we're coming.
Mhm.
We're going to be there. Planning commissioners, because they plan the uses of our aina and our water, and that affects our culture by, you know, permitting a lot of these resorts.
Yeah.
So for the past 3 years, we've been talking moratorium on any further resort development on Kauai. The one that we're taking to court is the Waipoli. There's 2 developments, condominiums, over 535 units built on 2 sides of the Makaiva Resort that's way out there in Waipoli.
Yeah.
And all we were asking was for a simple environmental statement, environmental protection state EA,
Yeah.
and which comes along with a CIA, which is a cultural impact
Right.
statement.
Right.
And we do know that there are bones there.
Oh yeah. Sure.
So
They actually did a set aside, didn't they? I mean, they
I
kind
don't
of.
know what they did actually, what they did with the bones. I need to
No.
go and find out again.
Yeah.
I've been going through all the cultural impact assessments that they did, the 2 that they did on both
Yeah.
properties, but plan to go down there sometime next week and walk the aina and try to get a feel of what it is, do some chanting and praying, and
Get some
get
direction.
ready for going back to court in May.
Yeah.
We're going back to kind of May 16th. Judge Watanabe here.
How are you sustaining that kind of stuff? I mean, you're going to court, you got
It
to.
costs money.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but
Native
mahalo
Hawaiian Legal
for
Corporation.
Native Hawaiian
Yeah.
Legal Corp,
Yeah.
who has been representing me on the cultural aspect of
Right.
the development,
Right.
and without their help, we couldn't go through with it. And why we went to court is because, in spite of all the talking that we've been doing all these past years against these kind of developments, it seems like they really don't pay attention until you slap them with a court case.
That's the only thing that the
That's the-
county seems to pay attention. All you have to do is
Yes.
say court case, and boy, things they
Yeah.
just kind of clam up, and they,
Right.
you know.
And that's why they make bad decisions too sometimes, because they're afraid of getting sued.
Yeah.
So that's a bugaboo in political.
Well, especially when they're in the wrong,
process. Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
I never forget, years ago, we were in court and Henry Smith was being tried. They were evicting him from Hawaiian homelands, and the judge at the end of the trial said, and Henry Smith, you will not set foot on Hawaiian homelands in the future under threat of punishment. And Henry stood up and he said, Your Honor, could you tell me exactly where those homelands are? And the judge was so frustrated because nobody wants to really know where all the lands are, right? I remember old Henry all the time. Every time I drive through Anahola, I look over there and I think of Henry Smith.
Yes, he was one of our mentors, one of our heroes here on Kauai.
Yeah, quite a guy. So what have you got? You got court cases coming up.
Yeah, the other one is when we stood our ground to protect the burials at Naue in Haena, in the Ahupua of Wainea.
And that's not over either, huh?
No, it isn't over. And it is really strange that we're getting arrested for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
We were only there to protect it because nobody else was.
Yeah.
And we were doing the LNR's job, actually, and the State Historic Preservation's job. And
it sounds like there were several agencies that dropped the ball and miscommunication.
Right.
But you know what was amazing to me was, I don't know who put it out there, maybe you did, but 10 years ago, the identical thing happened up there in the same area. Identical, exactly the same way, exactly the same drop ball, and it was just a repeat. So it's kind of like that just happens, you know. I forgot where I read that, but there was a case identical.
Well, I'm not surprised because we know that all along the coast of Haena is covered with burials.
Sure. Yeah.
All the way to KA, all the way to Naue. They did a huaka'i out there on November 1st, I remember, and as they walked from Naue to KA, it was amazing at how many times they stopped to acknowledge a burial along the way.
Yeah.
So development should not even be happening on the beaches in Haena or in Wainea or in KA because it's all sacred. There's bound to be EV.
Well, in Kona, Kailua Kona, my family's from Hawaii Island, North Kona, and same thing along Ali'i Drive, you know, all the way. It's all the same thing, just wall to wall. It's either a heiau or a shrine or burials and then the burial tubes underneath. So all of that stuff should be protected, buffered, you know. Yes. But we have a lot of people in the community who are kind of taking back those areas, you know. They're taking responsibility for them and protecting them and cleaning them up. So I'm hopeful that as we move forward in our quest for sovereignty, that things, you know, that's where the individual stuff.
Inches, though, I think we have been moving forward and
bite by bite.
Yes, bite by bite.
Eating that elephant. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking
right.
about. But that's and that's the way it's got to happen, I think. You know.
Yeah.
There's so many fronts and so many battles to be fought that that's the way we got to do it. So. And that's why communicating is so important because all of us cannot be everywhere, but we can get in touch with the ones who need to be there. You know?
That's why I love networking.
Yeah.
It gives you power. It's empowering. It empowers people. We try to get as many people involved in the discussions. We talk about issues, and then we put out a statement as to what our discussion has come about on different issues.
Yeah.
So.
And you've been interacting with Kekuni folks on Oahu quite a bit, I know.
Yes, I am a part of this group.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, I go kind of try to represent Kauai.
Yeah, that Thursday halavai thing.
Yes.
I try to get up there whenever I'm passing through and I can make it.
We play the same role as every time we go someplace.
Whenever
it's
you can.
Okay, well, Kauai is here.
Yeah.
What does Kauai got to say? So we feel like we represent our
whatever you can.
Our island whenever we can. So.
Everybody doesn't have an opportunity to get around, so when we can, we do. The next big thing, I guess, is January 17th, in that time frame. And you're going over? Going to try to go over?
There, yes. I'd like to join in with the Kekuni folks and the Ned crews and all our leaders there. They're all my heroes and mentors.
Yeah, it's pretty
fantastic. Like I said, I just been in this this movement for maybe 20 years, and but I came at a time when we had some of the best activists around, and that's who I hung with and learned so much from them. I want to really thank them too. Kekuni and all the leaders, too numerous to count. Sorry if I don't name you all, but you know who you are, people that have mentored me, and actually I learned who I was. I found out who I am, what my identity really is. First related to where I come from, and then all the way up to our genealogy, our blood genealogy, our land genealogy,
the history, the real
our
history,
political genealogy. Yes, it's been a fun ride. Many battles lost. Many times do we have to, come up against the brick walls and what we're trying to do, and maybe they stop us, but we always try to find a way to go around or over,
still surviving.
under. And we just keep going. Can't give up.
Well, I'm a relative newcomer myself, maybe 20 some years like that. And the longer I'm in it and the more involved I become, then I realize really how much groundwork was done early on. Mililani, the international arena, Kekuni Blaisdell was doing things in Geneva years and years ago. Kawai Pritchin, all of those folks.
Yeah, they're all our pioneers. They like broke through for us. They put it through for us so that we could come and follow. And I hope 2009 will be a successful year for our movement.
We already know it's going to be.
I don't want to call it our movement. What is it? Call it our restoration.
It's the nation.
Of justice.
Yeah.
To free Hawaii.
Well, I don't say that we're going to slam dunk it this year, but the fact that we're getting together, we're getting together and we're developing that critical mass. We talked earlier before the camera went on about how important it is for all of us who are looking in the same direction to get together at a level that allows us to support each other without letting the little details of difference get in the way.
Absolutely. That's right.
And
gotta converge.
And I see that happening more and more.
Yeah.
And we're kind of breaking down, I think, some of the fences that surrounded some of the various groups, and I think people are regarding themselves now as either independents or otherwise.
Right.
And so that allows us to get past, I think, a lot of the stuff in the past. Plus,
I think the world is watching too. They want to see if we are united. So that one thing we really have to do is show the world that there is unity in what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think that is so important.
Well, and it's happening.
We're not talking about like the majority. We're talking about consensual unity, agreements.
Well, for instance,
we can be comfortable with.
Yeah, and you talked about Puerto Rico. Was it Culebra or Vieques? Vieques you were at.
Hi.
At the Permanent Forum, we consult constantly with Puerto Rican, the Tainos and the indigenous people of the Caribbean.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, at the last Permanent Forum, we managed to get a resolution through that would look more closely at the decolonization process that the U.S. opted Hawaii and Alaska out of, and we're trying to get ourselves back in. Puerto Rico is also pushing for that, even though they're a commonwealth under the United States. They're looking for the same thing, but this level of activism and dedication is just building and building and building. So throughout the Pacific, we're supporting each other. Through our own islands, we're supporting each other. And it's the type of progress that we need to be making, and it's the test, that indeed what we're doing is pono, it's right, and that's what's going to make things happen. On Kauai, how would you advise anyone who's watching you on Kauai as to how they could get involved in some of these things that are going on? I mean, one thing is just show up, but you have to know who's doing things and where to go. I mean, I understand now there's a kupuna group that's getting together, organize a Kupuna Council. That's a major
Yes,
thing.
we do.
You know.
We have an Kupuna Mano Kalanipo organization now too.
Yeah,
We've done it before,
yeah,
and then somehow it kind of went
yeah.
on the wayside, but
Yeah.
we're back again.
The
so
time is right,
this
maybe
the
now.
time is right now
Yeah, so-
for us again to build a strong Kupuna voice.
Yeah,
Because now I think the world and the state governments, etc., now understand that the Kupuna do speak for the people
Yeah.
in many ways.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing.
sure, of course it is. And there's even today, there's that respect that goes with that white hair and the 7 decades and so forth. So it still exists, and that's probably because it's right in Pono to begin with.
Yeah, and it's an indigenous thing. It's not
Yeah.
just Hawaiians that
Yeah.
do that.
No, no.
Native Americans
It's everywhere.
and many other cultures,
Yeah,
they revere their kupuna as their wisdom keepers.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, Nani, I appreciate very much you spending time with us. Another opportunity to share. And so we hope people on Kauai and everywhere else they see, they come up and say hello. All right? Say, hello, Auntie Nani, you know.
I saw you on TV.
Yeah, I saw you on TV again.
I always
But
get
mahalo nui.
mahalo.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Aye.
We'd like to thank you folks for tuning in too and watching again. Whenever you can, we're also up on the web and we'll give you some more information on that. But I'm Kaiopua 5 with the Puanani Foundation, Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future, a segment of Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network. Hui ho, aloha.